All right, so you've gotten pretty good at prompting, right? You know how to talk to the AI, how to steer it where you want it to go, kind of like a skilled driver. But what if I told you that driving is only half the battle? What if you could actually pop the hood and tune the engine for some serious performance? Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today.
See, this is where we go from being just a driver to being the mechanic. Because once you understand how to tune that AI engine, you unlock this incredible new level of control, of precision in everything you create.
So here's the plan. We're going to talk about that shift from driver to mechanic, then we'll get right under the AI's hood. The main event is going to be your new tuning toolkit. After that, we'll touch on some model-specific stuff and wrap it all up with what gives you the expert's edge. Okay, let's really lock in this idea. As a pro AI user, your prompts are the steering wheel. They give the direction. But parameters, that's you, with the wrench in hand, under the hood, fine-tuning everything for the exact performance you need for the road ahead.
And if there's one thing you really need to get, it's this. Prompts tell the AI what to create. Parameters control how it goes about creating it. This is where you get to dial in the creativity, the style, the focus, in a way a prompt just can't do on its own. It's a game changer.
So let's get right to it. What are these mysterious settings we keep talking about? Well, just think of them as the knobs and dials inside the machine. They're the core controls that change the fundamental behavior of the AI as it's doing its thing.
Basically, a parameter is any setting that tweaks how the model generates content. It's not part of your prompt, but it's a rule the model has to follow while it's working on your prompt. It really is the how to your prompt's what. I love this way of thinking about it. Your prompt is like plugging a destination into your GPS, but the parameters, that's you choosing to take the scenic route, or the fastest highway, or maybe avoiding tolls. You need both to get the perfect trip, right? Same thing here.
All right, now for the really good stuff. We are opening up the toolbox. We're going to walk through the 3 most important sets of parameters you can start using right now to get way more specific and way more predictable results from your AI. We're going to break this down into 3 super practical steps. First up, tuning for creativity with things like temperature and top P. Then, we'll tune for coherence using penalties to stop the AI from repeating itself. And finally, we'll get control over the length with something called max tokens.
Okay, step 1, creativity. The most famous knob you can turn here is called temperature. Think of it like a creativity dial. If you turn the temperature down low, the AI plays it safe. It gets more focused, more predictable, sticking to the most obvious word choices. It's like a reliable robin's chirp. But if you crank that temperature up, the AI starts taking risks, getting more creative, more random. That's your experimental jazz solo. And here's a little cautionary tale for you. Someone was trying to generate technical docs, but they accidentally left the temperature cranked way up. The result? Total chaos. The manual was filled with these bizarre stories about talking squirrels and digital gremlins. The moment they turned the temperature down, boom, clear, precise output. So the lesson is pretty simple. For facts and focus, keep that temperature low. Now, a close cousin to temperature is a parameter called top P. It also deals with randomness, but it's a bit more surgical. Instead of making everything more random, it just tells the AI to pick from a smaller, curated pool of the most likely next words. This is fantastic for balancing creativity with making sense. For instance, you could use it to give a character a really unique, quirky voice without them spouting total nonsense, which is something a high-temperature setting can sometimes do. Okay, on to our second step, tuning for coherence. You know that thing where an AI gets stuck in a loop, just repeating the same phrase over and over and over again? It's super annoying. Well, frequency and presence penalties are the tools you use to fix that. They basically tell the AI, hey, you've already said that, try something new. And here's a perfect example of that in action. An AI was asked to write a reflection on the changing seasons, but it just got stuck talking about autumn leaves. It wouldn't move on. By adding just a small penalty, it nudged the AI to bring in new ideas, like squirrels bearing nuts, the changing light. It made the whole piece so much richer and more dynamic. Our third tool might sound simple, but trust me, it is absolutely critical. It's called max tokens. All this does is set a hard limit on how long the AI's response can be. This is your go-to control for stopping responses that get cut off mid-sentence, or, on the flip side, that just ramble on forever. This is such a classic mechanics problem. You see summaries that keep getting cut off right in the middle of a sentence, so you tweak the prompts, you rewrite it, you try everything, but nothing works. And then you realize the problem wasn't the prompt at all. It was a max token setting that was just set way too low from some other test. It's a simple thing, but it's a powerful reminder to always check your settings.
Now here's a pro tip that's going to save you a ton of frustration. The perfect settings for one AI model are almost never the perfect settings for another one. It's just like an engine, right? You wouldn't tune a massive truck engine the same way you tune a little hybrid. Different models need different adjustments.
Here's a real-world example. Somebody had their prompt and parameters dialed in perfectly for GPT 3.5 Turbo. But when they switched over to the more advanced GPT-4 using the exact same settings, the output suddenly felt way too stiff and robotic. And why? Because GPT-4 is just more coherent to begin with, so those old restrictive settings were basically overkill. They had to go back under the hood and retune everything for the new engine.
So, the bottom line is this, and you can think of it as the mechanic's #1 rule. When you switch engines, you have to retune. Always assume your old settings need a fresh look. A little bit of experimentation here isn't just a good idea, it's absolutely essential.
So, what have we really learned here? Well, by moving beyond just writing prompts and learning how to tune these core parameters, you've just unlocked a much deeper level of control. Honestly, this is what separates a casual user from a true power user.
Let's just quickly recap those key lessons. 1. Parameters give you that deeper control. 2. Match your temperature to your task. Low for facts, high for fresh ideas. 3. Use max length to control the size and penalties to stop repetition. And 4, the big one, always remember that tuning is specific to the model you're using. You've gotta test.
So, there you have it. You've officially moved from the driver's seat to the mechanic's garage. You can do more than just steer now. You can fine-tune the engine for any creative journey you can possibly imagine. The only question left is, now that you have this power, what are you going to build? In our next explainer, we're going to take these new skills and put them to work in some seriously cool, practical applications. See you then.